you.
Okay, Senator Ludlam.
Thanks. I don't have too many for these folks. Thanks, Chair. Welcome back, Commissioner. Has the AFP been consulted on the negotiations of the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement?
Not that I'm aware of, but I'll double check with my deputies here to see if there's anything in train.
I know it probably sounds a bit out of left field.
No visibility from this end, Senator.
Not yet, but I suspect you will have. So my follow-up, I guess, is whether you've provided advice to government on the increased resources that will be needed, given that the IP chapter, which was posted on WikiLeaks' website a couple of nights ago, proposes criminal offences and proposed statutory damage penalties to be set at a deterrent level rather than compensatory level for IP offences. What that means, I think, in plain English, is a lot more work for you guys enforcing the obligations that we may be about to be signed up to.
Senator, we haven't been asked, but that would be probably a matter for the department to, in the first instance anyway, they would consult with us after receiving that request.
Department of Foreign Affairs or
sorry, the Department of Attorney General's Department. Could
I just briefly put that to you, Mr Wilkins, and just tell us what the... I've just asked the Commissioner about the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, and I guess I'm not surprised to hear you say that you don't have any visibility of it, but it proposes a whole set of criminal offences and penalties that will require enforcement by somebody, presumably the AFP. Are you in contact with DFAT about process of that, signing Australia up to that agreement?
We're having some discussions, I think, with DFAT. I'm not sure of the details.
Could you characterise those discussions for us? Because they would appear to me to have direct operational consequences for the AFP.
Sorry, Senator, I'm not with you, I'm afraid.
Okay. The IP chapter of the draft IP chapter of the Trans-Pacific Partnership Free Trade Agreement was leaked a couple of nights ago. It proposes a whole range of new criminal offences and statutory damage penalties.
Sorry, it was leaked where?
On the WikiLeaks website.
Okay, well, I'll need to get a hold of this and understand whether it's accurate. It is accurate, is it?
That's fair enough, but yes, I believe it's accurate. I've certainly not seen any commentary to the contrary. But I'll leave you to make your own judgment. It's consistent with what analysts thought would be in the agreement. But even if some of the statistics or some of the specifics are inaccurate, this chapter does appear to propose substantial criminal penalties and new sets of offences that don't presently exist that someone will have to enforce.
But we are negotiating, Senator.
Yes.
So negotiating positions which will eventually, this treaty, if it is negotiated in a form which the government is happy with, will come to the Senate. So I'm not sure what the question is.
It'll go to the Treaties Committee. The Parliament won't have any visibility. It'll be signed in the blind and we'll just have to cop it.
We don't necessarily subscribe to the draft of the treaty. It depends. We are negotiating.
Yes. Well, fortunately for civil society groups, the draft shows what the different countries' negotiating positions are. So we do appear to be signing up.
Well, sorry, what's your question, Senator?
My question is, and it may have already been answered, has anybody thought to ask the Federal Police, who will be in a position of having to enforce these new penalties for things like file sharing, of the increased resources that are going to be necessary to do that? When somebody introduces a whole new class of criminal penalties and things that need to be investigated and enforced, somebody has to do that work.
Yeah, Senator, the answer is no. Nobody has spoken to the AFP, but given it's a draft document, I'm not surprised by that at all, if it's an accurate document at all.
Well, I think everyone seems to be getting way ahead of themselves here because, I mean, what you've explained to me is new about the Australian negotiating position, so that's interesting. Because I haven't seen anything on WikiLeaks. I'm not sure what Australia's position is said to be by whoever it is that leaked this thing, or whether it's accurate.
That's why I'm trying to be helpful. I'm trying to put that to you.
I think the question was, has anyone asked the Federal Police? The Federal Police have said no, nobody's asked them, so that's answered that question. Next question.
All right, thanks, Chair. Very efficient use of the committee's time. Does the Federal Police use Microsoft software for your back office and regular operational stuff?
Yes, Senator. Microsoft Office is our standard operating system for the office environment.
Same here. Are you confident of your network level security, given confirmed reports that Microsoft has a legal obligation to provide a backdoor to all of its products to the US NSA?
Without agreeing to the premise of the question, I am confident that the way that we work with other partners that use Microsoft as well in this town, other partners within the intelligence space, for example, that the level of cooperation between ourselves and other Commonwealth agencies to ensure that we've got best practice protection of our systems is in place. I am confident of that.
All right, I've had this conversation a bit in another committee this morning.
I did observe that, Senator.
You did? I thought you'd be busy in here. My question is whether you specifically patch against that PRISM backdoor that is delivering all of your and my data to the US NSA's servers. Have you specifically protected against that?
I'm not prepared to answer that, Senator.
Why is that?
I don't think it's appropriate to reveal the specific measures we take in terms of cyber protection of the AFP systems. What I will say is I'm confident that we're aware of risks, both from our own experience as well as from our communicating with other agencies, including agencies that have specialisation in this area, and that is an ongoing dynamic process of ensuring best protection. It's not just a point in time.
You're aware of the potential vulnerabilities. Have you done anything to mitigate them?
Yes, Senator.
You have? Okay.
As a general comment, are we aware of potential vulnerabilities? Yes. Do we take steps to mitigate those vulnerabilities? Yes.
Okay. So it may be that the AFP has afforded itself a higher level protection of your officers and the various people who support you than this Parliament has gone to the trouble.
A range of our systems are actually rated, I suspect, at a higher level than the systems that are operated within this building for the use of parliamentarians.
Okay.
We do have secret systems, top secret systems, etc. They would certainly have different protections from a system that, say, is merely restricted to the members of Parliament.
I would hope so.
You would hope so.
That's the context of my answer, Senator.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's understood. But does that include the person operating the front desk when I walk into one of your offices in one of our capital cities?
Some of our front desks are operated by contract staff who do not have access to AFP's high-level classified systems.
Okay, thank you. But they're probably still using Microsoft Word and Microsoft Outlook and these other products that have all been comprehensively backdoored by the NSA.
I don't know, Senator, but they certainly wouldn't have access through their systems are not connected to our classified networks.
It's not quite the question I'm asking.
Well, they're private contractors, and I don't know what the private contractors' systems are.
Okay. But if one of your private contractors emails one of your top secret behind the firewall operatives, the private contractor's system is vulnerable, as every build of Microsoft Office or Outlook ever produced has been vulnerable.
Yeah. Anybody who emails in, whether they be a private contractor or some other member of the public, presents the same risk, and we therefore have the same methods for scanning, for monitoring email traffic that arrives at the organisation.
Yeah, again, and not to belabour the point or be pedantic, it's not so much about malware infecting your internal network, it's about the fact that Microsoft has a legal obligation to provide the NSA with backdoors into all its products. So you believe, and I think you've told us, that you are confident that that does not apply, certainly within secure levels of the AFP.
I think I answered in a general sense, not specific to particular risks to the organisation.
All right, I'll leave it there. Thank you, Chair.
You finished, Senator Ludlam? Senator Xenophon.